Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Way Love Goes podcast.
What's
Thank
up?
you
What's
for showing up. Thank
up?
you for joining us today on this Friday. We'll be back. And we'll be back.
That song was a jam.
All right, bye. I should say in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then just do it.
Yeah. What's up, everybody?
Yeah. Hey, everybody. I want to go ahead and apologize in advance. For some reason, my Wi-Fi is saying 1 instead of saying what it needs to say. So yeah. See, look, I'm about to get kicked out again, and I hope not.
We're here. I hear you.
That's that. But anyway, welcome to the Way Love Goes podcast. We are here. We are here. We are here. We're glad you're here. First, let's go ahead and do a check-in today. I don't know why I'm slowing down. It's raining here today, so.
Okay.
So go ahead and
it's not raining over here.
Go ahead and start.
All right, we ain't raining over here. We straight for the moment. I hope I'm not speaking the clouds into existence, but yeah, man, we have a good day. Kiddos are off of school. I don't know why they keep giving them vacations. I am not sending them there to be on vacation, but they keep getting it, and so they're here. They're chilling, and but yeah, it was the good benefit is I could get a jump start on some of the stuff that I usually have to start later in the day. So I got more done this morning than I usually can get done. So that was good. Got to sleep in a little bit too. So those are positives.
Yeah, those are good positives. I think I need to disconnect. I think I got too many things connected right now to my network. Maybe that's what it is. Or maybe I need to upgrade my plan.
Yeah, it could be that too. I know I got some cheap internet also. Because these apartments where I'm at.
I think they do that sporadically. I think they throw something in there to make it not work. And then
make you upgrade.
Then, you might need to upgrade. Yeah. Like not right now. I'm good. I'm gonna work with it as long as I can work.
Exactly.
Yeah, so exactly.
We here.
For me, raining over here, but it's 74. So it's still unseasonably warm here in the 757. I don't like it. I'm already having hot. I don't even know. Wait a minute, where is my look? I was under my stuff in my closet and I found a fan. I think I lost it. I found it and lost it already. But I found this big fan, like some kind of fan my mom had, some kind of like big woven fan. I don't know what I did with it. I had it yesterday because I was fanning yesterday, and I don't know what happened to it.
Like a church fan, like a big church fan. Wow.
It looks like a church fan, but it's like very African like straw.
Oh,
like a straw fan.
Yeah, like a woven fan.
Yeah, and it has like different colors, but I was like, woo, yes, Lord. Because I'm having hot flashes at 40. I'm thinking like, I'm not even 50. I'm not supposed to be having hot flashes, but I am.
Oh, man.
So that's that.
Sorry about that.
So, yeah, but other than that, it's a great Friday. It's November the 11th. So we thank you veterans for all your service that you have
Mm,
done, all the sacrifice that you have made for us. Those who are retired, active duty, reservists, we thank you so much for your service, your sacrifice, especially to the
hmm.
families. I am former military wife, so I know how it is. And even though I'm no longer married to my ex-husband, I still experience it because we have kids together. So
Yeah.
I know what all that is, and he's currently out right now on exercises for the Navy. So, just continue to keep everyone in prayer who's in the military as well as their families because they do the big brunt work of it all as well. Trying to keep the home front good and
Yeah.
copacetic. So
Right.
that's all that's going on with me. Let me shout out. Shout out. She might not be watching us right now while we're recording or live because she is working, but my good dear friend, basically like my bestie, Jessica, her birthday is Sunday. We'll be celebrating
Mm,
tomorrow. Hopefully we don't get rained out from the tropical depression and cold that's coming. Oh, also please be in prayer, everyone who was affected by the hurricane/tropical storm now in depression in Florida. So I
mm.
think that's why we have rain today. But yeah,
Oh, okay.
but yeah, her birthday. So happy birthday, Jessica. I love you.
And I shout out
So
my friend
that's
Daniela. Her birthday is today. So Daniela, happy birthday.
oh
Happy birthday.
happy birthday, cumpleaños.
Feliz
I
cumpleaños.
don't know the rest.
Manica. Yeah. She's from Nicaragua.
Oh, the
So that's
longer
my
money.
joke with her. I call her Manica. Yeah.
My mom. Oh, that's where my fan went. You have not been
Oh,
looking for
all the
that fan
stories are coming
and
out.
seen it and
All
thought
the
about
stories
it.
are coming out.
It was
What else did she take?
that fan was in a bag in my closet for at least some years now,
So you stole
and
it 2 years
around her
ago.
own place of residence. So I know I didn't steal it. I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure it just got. I'm pretty sure she probably packed it up in my own stuff without knowing. It
Mm,
happens that way. But
the truth
blessing
comes out.
I'm receiving from that fan. When I'm,
Yes.
when I'm sitting there working, I'm like, "Whoo, Lord, thank you, Lord, for this fan." I don't even know what I did. I had it yesterday, but who knows? My kids, they might have
The
picked it
Lord
up and
is
started
keeping
playing
it
with it
from you because
themselves.
it's your mom's, not
So,
yours.
is that what it is?
That's what's
I
happening.
cannot reap the harvest of a stolen fan.
Right, right, right.
I didn't do
So
it.
you can't
Let the
can't
record
do it.
show I am not a thief.
It's a long
Okay.
distance relationship from now on.
Okay. But anyway, before we get into our um the meat and potatoes of our podcast today, don't forget to like, subscribe, share, comment below, even comment when we're not live because we can still get the comments. YouTube emails us and say,
Hmm.
"Hey, so and so just left a comment," and so that gives us the ability to go ahead and like your comment and thank you for your comment. So don't forget to like the video. You're watching it, like it, and then hit that subscription
Click,
button,
click,
that
click.
bell, so you can get all the notifications when we go live, when we post a clip, when we start posting short stories and post whatever. You know what? I posted a poll the other day, but because it was my
Mm,
first time posting a poll, I forgot to go back to see what the results were.
mm, mm.
So I don't know what the results were. So that's bad. But anyway, for all those who
Dude.
participated in the poll I posted, it said I forgot. That's crazy. It said
Yeah.
would you oh yeah, would you get into a long distance relationship? That's what it said. But
Mm.
unfortunately I can't see it right now.
Oh well.
But yeah. So let's go ahead and get into today's
Let's
podcast.
get into it. Let's get into it.
Next week I'll remember poll results. And and we can go off that. But yes, long distance relationships. Have you ever been in a long distance relationship, Mr. Donovan?
Um, yeah, one time I was, and it was it worked for a short portion of the time, and then it didn't work anymore. I was just like, nah, I don't think he can do this. No, 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 we cannot do it. No, we will not have it all. Um, yeah, because I remember. I mean, the relationship was probably already dwindling. I'm guessing. I'm thinking it was already going away, but I remember there was a time that we had planned to talk. You know, and
Right.
where I was, I only had access to phones in certain places. And so because of the time that I
Right.
had to call her, I actually had to like spend the night in this office so that I could be where the phone was, so that I could get her, because we were both actually out on like missionary trips, and I was at one place, she was at her place, and so the time difference was there, and then the only way that we could contact each other was by calling at this certain time. So I spent the night in this office building so that I could be by the phone when the time was right. So when I woke up to call, I looked at I got an email from her, and I was like, this is not good. Why am I getting an email right now? And
Right.
they had been doing some sort of like trip or something. They had this trip planned, and in the email, she was like, "My bad, man. I'm sorry. I know we were supposed to have this call at this time, but we're going on this trip, and this is my last time being out here. So I'll try to talk to you later." Now, she didn't know what I had went through to wait to be there for that call, and
She didn't know you were sacrificing.
she didn't know the sacrifice I was getting into. And she also, I get it. Like when you're out abroad somewhere, you got to take advantage of that time. It ain't like you could just pop back over there and do what you got to do, you
Right.
know.
Right.
But the fact that she chose that instead of me, let me know.
Ooh.
All right, I feel like we probably at the end of the road with this one. So yeah, I think it was already moving apart, but that was like one of the last little hairs that was just like, boop, okay, we're done here. Okay,
Right.
we're finished now. She's a good person. I mean, she did at least shoot me the email. She could have just left. So she did shoot me the email, so consider it in that regard, at least formally. Um, so yeah, yeah, yeah. No hard feelings though, because I'm good, very good now. So you know.
Whole marriage. All
Mm.
all the way. Hi, Carol. Thank you for
Carol, what's up? What's up?
calls again. Hi, Mom. I'm sorry, I forgot to say hi.
Mom, what's good?
How you doing? Okay. What is a distance relationship? I'm going to give you my definition because it should be pretty explanatory. It's a long distance
Mm-hmm.
relationship. So, a long distance relationship is when two people
Mm-hmm.
meet each other and they don't live in the same city, state, county, country, and they decide after dating each other for a little bit through the phone or virtual or through texting that they want to go ahead and mutually relationship as if you were deciding to be mutually exclusive with someone who's in your own city. So
Mm-hmm.
and then they have to go about doing extra work to keep in touch and keep the relationship going, because why? It's long distance. You're not in the same city. You're not in the same town. I would not personally say that long distance is not in the same city, because cities can be very close. Like here,
Hmm.
I'm in an area we call the Seven Cities, and all of our cities are very close together. I can get from
Yeah.
here to Virginia in 2 hours. So that's a different city. So that's how long distance is. I have to
Yeah.
travel at least an hour away. That's for me. At least an
Yeah.
hour away plus, to get to you. I have to actually plan to get to you. I gotta put
Mm.
extra gas in my car, or purchase a plane ticket or a ticket or a ferry or a bus or
Or a
a long bus
train
ride,
or
the
a
metro bus,
subway.
to get to you.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Hmm.
So that is what a long distance relationship is. Now, you found some good information, right, about long distance relationship from the article that we have
Oh
been
yeah.
looking at, called Modern Long Distance, sorry, modernlovelongdistance.com slash how to make a long distance relationship work. So, what are the fun facts that you found from this site?
Dude. Okay, so it's pretty dope because first off, there's a whole website dedicated to this. And I think that's
Mm-hmm.
very awesome because a lot of people are
Yeah.
dealing with this, especially now in pandemic. Because what, like, I think we've told people this, but you and I have actually never even ever met in person, and so I think that happens with a lot of different relationships because over the time of pandemic, people were more active on all the social media stuff, and that was literally how you were meeting people. I think probably the majority of
Mm-hmm.
people that I know that are not local, I met in 2020, and it was a decent amount of folks, you know. Um,
Right.
so I'm sure that dating is something that also happens. Kind of, there's probably like a big boom in that way. And so, because of that, now being such a high demand, it's good to know that there are websites that are dedicated to things like this. So, give you a little bit of background on the lady. I don't know. She never said her name. I hate that when people don't say who they are. Talk about everybody else except for themselves. But anyway, the founder of this website, she actually wrote a book about how her and her husband got together. You know, she actually wrote a book about how they got together, and it won an award actually. So I guess that book is pretty good. Y'all might want to check it out. They wrote letters to each other for
Yeah.
months before they
Mm-hmm.
even ever met or even ever talked.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Mm.
they've been in a long distance relationship for about 7 months and only spent
Okay.
20 days actually in the same country when he proposed to her.
Mm.
When he proposed to her, and so
Wow.
it ain't you know, I mean, that
Mm-hmm.
was some quality time, I guess, because I don't know anybody that could propose in 7 months and feel as good, even when y'all are in the same city. So that's some quality bonding going on there.
Right.
Now, even in their life now, because of the jobs they have, he's
Right.
an aid worker and she's a psychologist. So they still traveled a lot even after they got married,
Right.
and they spent, she said, more than a year of their marriage apart from each other, and that included two pregnancies. And all of that time, they were, you know, or like a lot for large chunks within that time period, they were living in different countries. So the
Mm.
communication skills, she felt like the communication skills and habits that they developed over that time of their long-term distance engagement and dating were extremely helpful. And so she has put together this website that she was like, oh, okay, I think I could help other people who are heavily, you know, involved in these types of relationships. So the main goals of what she kind of made the relationship for was to find fun long distance relationship activities and new things to talk about, right? Because we always talk about communication is key, but yeah, it's boring if you don't have nothing to talk about. So she's going to help you with that. Give solid advice about the unique dynamics of long term relationships, because people be knowing what a long term relationship is, but if you're not in it, you don't know the dynamics. Like, you don't know things until you're in them. You got an idea, but the reality of it doesn't set in until you actually fully experiencing it. So she's helping people to navigate that. It's like Bruce Banner was trying to help She-Hulk, at the beginning, try to navigate the thing, whatever. All right. And then the last thing, trying to learn new ways to connect and communicate with your long distance partner. So the website has advice sections, it has activity suggestions like books y'all can read together,
Yes.
long distance dating blueprint, like a full on 12-week layout sort of thing, quotes, gift ideas, and even
Right.
like a little shop section. So there's a lot of things that you can look at if you go to that resource. And again, it is modernlovelongdistance.com. Okay. Modernlovelongdistance.com for all of your needs. Sponsor us,
Her name is
unnamed woman.
Lisa McKay.
Lisa McKay. Where'd you find her
Her
name?
name is Lisa McKay.
Where'd you find that?
Look, I'm an undercover FBI
Yeah,
CIA
I know.
agent.
I know you
I
are.
be
I know.
looking.
I don't doubt it. I don't doubt it. I probably was lazy. I probably just only looked in
No,
one place and was like, ah, it's not there.
well, normally you would think it would be like at the top of the page, but it's
You
not.
think. You would think.
But
On the
I went
about page.
to yeah. Well, I just went to the about page now. So her husband name is Mike.
Yeah, I know Mike. I know about Mike.
But on the other part, so there was like her advertisement where for you to subscribe to her. On there it said Lisa McKay, but you couldn't really
All
see
right, there you go.
it though,
Lisa McKay, y'all.
See it.
So
Yeah.
Lisa done helped you out in the long distance
LDR Essentials
department.
Yeah,
Yeah,
MCKAY.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
That is good. And you know what? Coincidentally enough, today, because today is Veterans Day, what you say? Who? Lisa McKay. Let me say it for y'all in the back. Lisa McKay. MCKAY. But coincidentally enough, today, because today is Veterans Day, most people in the military have to endure long distance relationships.
Yeah.
So we get the types and different scenarios. And we're going to tell you basically the different types of, they call it LDR. So if you ever Google long distance relationship, now in 2022, no one's saying the whole word, the whole phrase, the whole title. They're saying LDRs, long distance relationships. So if you want to be woke in these long distance streets,
if you say long distance, you're a loser.
Right. So here are 3 types of long distance relationships. Just 3. And this may not be the all in all, but this is 3 that we thought about. So you meet someone who you want to date and they are not in your city or county or state or country. And usually, like you said, most of these things are happening online. No one is, you're not, or if you go on vacation, you go on vacation and you meet someone and then y'all exchange information. Maybe you went to Italy and y'all were there for a week, like on this new show that's on Netflix, which is awesome, with Zoe Saldana, called From Scratch, and she went abroad and she met someone in Italy, but he ended up coming back with her. But if you go and you travel and you're there for a while,
don't get with a dude that gonna come back with you.
No, it was no.
Let him.
That situation.
He's a hobosexual.
No. You have to go. I highly suggest, and I'm not getting any. We're not getting any kind of ad endorsements from this. But I highly suggest
Trust
you
me.
go into Netflix and watch from scratch. It's a very romantic type movie. You will cry. I'm gonna let you know. But it's based on a true story. But anyway, so
Oh.
you go out of country and you meet someone, and then y'all exchange information. Now you're deciding, and then after a couple of weeks or so, y'all decide, let's go ahead and make this long distance. So those are that's that. You meet someone, you want to date them, they're not nowhere near you. The other two scenario is you marry someone and their career keeps their relationship long distance. So i.e.
Mm.
military are gone from maybe 5 months to a year sometimes. A celebrity, if you happen to be the 1% of people who marry a celebrity, I don't know. That was my own statistics, but you marry
If you
someone
end up marrying Tierra Monique, then you'll be getting with a celebrity in about 5 years.
thank you so much.
Five,
Thank you so much.
4 or 5.
I claim it.
So
I don't
you
really
should
want to
get
be a
ready.
celebrity, but I want to be famous for what I
It
do, and
just
that's
it just chooses you. Yeah, it
helping
just
people.
chooses you.
Yeah. So yeah, you marry a celebrity or someone who works in the entertainment field or whatever. A career that has heavy travel demands. You have to travel. You're someone who is an author and they have to travel to promote their book, or someone who's a singer and not necessarily they're famous, but they have to go around and promote their book, or someone who has to stay out of the country for a long stays, like someone who's a chef and they have to go and do like a chef travel thing. They have to have all these different appearances to teach people how to cook or whatever the case may be. That's another scenario. I also just thought about this today when I was watching Pastor Robert C. Blake Jr. because he has a YouTube video about long distance relationships, and he said that even while being married to his wife, they had to endure seasons of long distance relationship because him as a pastor, you have to travel and you have
Mm.
to travel around and you go to different places to speak. And so, as a pastor, you have to travel.
Yep.
And so you may experience like seasons of long distance a relationship. And then the third thing, which is really popping right now, you may not know, but there's a lot of people doing this. We wouldn't
There's a lot
advise
of
it,
people here.
but they're doing it. Is you are involved with someone who is in jail. They can't come see you,
They
but you can
can't.
come see. You can go and see them if they have the permission for you to come. If they have,
Yeah, they got
if
to
they
be on their best behavior.
Yes, but there are people who are in jail, who are in prison for a very long time, and they have girlfriends and they get married to people while they are inside and another person's outside. Look, they have access to phones, they have access to the internet. When I
Mm.
was on, when I not when I was like I wasn't recently, but whenever I'm on a dating app, you can always tell when it's somebody who's in prison.
Oh, what does that look like? I'm very curious. I'm very curious to know what
It
that
looks
is.
like they're not in this. Let me go ahead and take this out here. They're not in an orange jumpsuit. Okay. Um,
Okay.
the inmates who are allowed to have access to phones or social media, usually they're in a white shirt with blue jeans, or they are in a blue shirt with blue jeans. And let me tell you something, everybody wants love, and hey, if you can get love in prison, get love. I'm not knocking it. I'm just saying these are a type of long distance relationships. They have access to get on websites, to on dating sites, and then
Mm.
you'll know after a couple conversations. If you're not sure, maybe they got somebody on the outside helping them, post some old pictures from Facebook or Instagram for their profile, and then later on the conversation they say, hey, can you or will you be able to put some money on my books? Will you be,
Mm.
stuff like that.
And there it is.
And there it is. Or can you cash app, my cousin, my brother, my sister, somebody some money so they can come and bring it to me? Or they can't, or another indicator, you will never be able to see them unless you go and visit them at their place of residence, which is the prison. And again, I am not knocking that. If that's okay with you, that is
Do
your
it.
business. I'm not
Do
knocking
what
it.
you gotta
You
do.
do it. You do what's
Do
good for
it.
you. We're just telling you these are the type of long distance relationship scenarios that can
Mm-hmm.
play out. Okay.
Right. Right.
Okay.
Right. 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 Right.
So
Right.
you already talked about your personal experience. I'm going to go ahead and give a
Mm-hmm.
quick synopsis of mine. I have
Yeah.
never been in a long distance relationship outside of being married. So when I was married, my husband was in the Navy. He still is, and my ex-husband. He's not my husband now, but that was our long distance relationship. Like he would have to go out for exercise. They would be like 3 weeks or 4 weeks at a time.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes like little short months or 2 months here. And then he would have to go out for the long ones, which were like 6 to 7 months. So now
Ooh.
I think they're like 8 to 9 months, all depends.
Yeah.
As far as what you do in the military. So that is how I experienced long distance relationship. Now I tried to do what I just heard today. It was called long distance interest. So that's like when you're getting to know someone long
Mm-hmm.
distance. You're not
Mm-hmm.
you're not you're not in a relationship yet. You're just interested in the possibility of getting a relationship. Maybe dating, possibly.
Mm-hmm.
So I did that before a couple of times and they didn't work out. The one recently that I did earlier this
Mm-hmm.
year, I was really, really into him, like really into him, and he was really into me, and we had similar situations as
Mm-hmm.
far as like caregiving,
Mm-hmm.
and but we're gonna get into this later in a little bit. But we came to a realization that it was like when you meet the right person at the wrong time, kind of like you know.
Ah.
And I shouldn't say right because you don't know if they're the right person until you ask them and like really because we were never around each other.
Yeah.
But you meet someone that it could be a good fit for your life, but at the wrong time. Like he was in California and I was here, so there was no way that I was going to be able to move to California, in no way, no time soon. And there was no way he was going to be able to move to Virginia, no way, no time soon. So
Mm.
it's like one of those things that you have to think about and go, you know what, is this really going to work? So, but we stay in contact. We still support each other. We're still friends. There's no hard feelings, but sometimes that happens. We were never in a relationship, but we were talking about it. But we never met in person. So that was my experience. So I haven't
That's
done
a
it yet.
lot. Yeah.
I haven't done that yet. I say yet. I don't think I want to do. Once we go through the next tips and tools or whatever, I don't know if I want to. But
Yeah. It's work.
so
It's work.
how our first question is, yeah, it's work. How do you know if your long distance relationship is worth it? Like, how do you think you know that it's worth it? I would say that if the long term benefit is greater than a temporary sacrifice. So
Mm-hmm.
like the benefit that you're going to receive out of being with each other once you all decide to actually live in the same city in the same house or whatever. The
Yeah.
benefit of being with them outweighs the price that you're currently going through. What do you think?
Yeah. For me, if when it's time to talk to him, if you're like, then it's worth it. If it's like, oh shoot, that's right. What time is it? Oh, okay. All right. Let's go. Let's go. It ain't worth it. It's not worth it,
Right,
guys.
right.
You got to
Exactly.
be
Yeah, especially
motivated. If you don't have the energy, it ain't worth it.
yeah. Yeah, especially if you're in different time zones. That
Oh
is
yeah.
where it hits the let me tell you, because that California and Virginia time zone difference, you're like, wait a minute. Like it's 9 o'clock here, it's 12, it's 9 o'clock here, it's what 6 o'clock there. That's like it's like you have to constantly remind yourself, okay, 3 hours, 3 hours, 3 hours, 3 hours. And it can get like, wait a minute.
Now imagine
It
if
can
you were
get like
dating
that.
somebody from Hawaii. That's 3 more hours
Right, right,
on top of it.
right. Or someone who yeah. Or someone who was like in China or somewhere and they're like a whole
China
day
or
ahead of you.
Dubai. Yeah,
Um,
yeah. You're like, what's gonna happen to me
yeah,
tomorrow? Should I wake up today?
I
What
know.
should I do?
Right. Right.
Are we still
So
dating
how do you
tomorrow?
make LDR? Right. You're silly. How do you make LDRs work? So
Mm,
from the website JennyNurick.com/5 tips for a long distance relationship. Nurick is Nurick. You had wrote down some fun facts from her
Yeah, yeah,
website
yeah.
as well.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. First thing, and this is key really for any relationship, but it's really gonna kick in for long LDRs. See, let me not be a loser. LDRs. Research shows that couples who have excitement in their relationship experience a higher relationship satisfaction. Now, it's very obvious that yes, that would be the case, but even though it's obvious and it makes sense when you state it, people would be taking it for granted. They think the excitement is just going to come and it's just going to be there, and no, that ain't how it goes. It takes time, it takes work. So there are some tips that we need to consider when we're getting into into these situations. Um, Let me see. Let me make sure we are all here together. You froze, girl. Where you at? Are you still frozen?
I'm here. You
Okay.
know,
You was like mesmerized by the. I was like,
it
wow,
was
she's
it was like
really,
it was like
really focused.
oh no, I was actually I was reading the comments because I by doing all that like 16 comments came through. So
Oh,
I'm waiting for you to
yeah,
get
yeah,
your
yeah, yeah.
finish so
Oh,
we
you
can
were at.
finish.
Okay,
So
okay. You catch it up on the comment. Okay, cool. I'll tell you the first one while we at it. All right.
yeah.
So one thing that you could do that's
Go ahead.
fun is actually plan your activities together, right? So you can have a phone call or a text session or whatever, where you just sitting there planning about your next thing that you want to do. Like I saw one example they were saying was, you could do like a hike, right? So you do like your video phone, like a video call or whatnot, and you plan a hike together, or you plan a hike or something, and you could take like different pictures in the various spots where you're at. So you can talk about how you want to do that, how you want to put that activity together. If you want to do a dinner, y'all can like decide what you're going to eat. I mean, just literally taking time to plan your activity together. So that's one of the things that they suggest that you do. Take time to plan things together. Um, Another one, talk regularly about your relationship. Where is your head when you're
Mm-hmm.
doing these things, right? Are there things that you like about the relationships? Are there things that you don't like and you want to change? Like, don't just because it's very easy because you are distant. You could keep it in, and you might be able to put on a facade for as long as you're interacting with the person, and just leave it like that. But don't actually do that. Try to keep the communication going the same as you would if you were there, in the same city, in each other's space on a regular basis. Let them know how you're feeling, man. It might actually work well because they have even more time to kind of process, if they're a healthy processor, and they're not spinning crazy narratives. But if they're healthy with their processing, um, that can actually be a good benefit because they have time to think about how would they want to work on this, so that they could be better for your next engagement, or for as you're progressing on how you want to engage with each other. So those are two there that I'll put out there, and let me know, what do you think about those two? You think those are that's some sound advice, or would you tweak it at all?
I have those same two on my do's and don't list.
Mm,
About as far as what you should do and what you should not do, and especially the best thing I think what you said was the fact that you should do things together virtually. Um,
mm,
I think especially I know I did that before, even when I was talking to someone who was in another city. So someone who was like 30 minutes away from me, and we can't all the time all the time because his schedule.
Mm-hmm.
Just we would we both enjoyed a certain TV show, so we
Mm.
would watch the TV show together, right? So you can do that same thing, when you're long distance. You can watch. I think Netflix has it now when you can watch together. You can watch at the same time. I think there's an app. There
Mm.
are apps now that allow you to be able to watch things at the same time. If you're still doing Zoom, you can Zoom and watch them at the same time. Um, yeah.
Yo,
So those are good. That was good.
if you're really okay, if you're really serious about this, let me add this because it was probably came out after these articles were written, or maybe these people don't even know about it. If you get one of those virtual headsets, like Oculus or one of these things that the ones put over your face, you can literally
Oh
sit in the
yeah, yeah.
same room with the person. I remember the first time I got one of these. I have one of the Oculus
Oh,
virtual headsets, and a pastor friend of
uh-huh.
mine also had it, and he was telling me this was right before the pandemic started and when everybody was on lockdown. He's like, "Yeah, get it before the pandemic so you could like still hang out with people." And literally, the first time we were on at the same time,
Right.
we were literally in the video game together.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sitting there and he's like, "Yeah, look over here to your left." I was like, "What you talking about?" He's like, "No,
Oh,
literally,
really?
like just turn to your left and look." And I turned to my left, or what is my left to y'all? My left, and he was standing right, like his avatar or whatever. He was standing right there, and he was like, "Hi." I'm like, "Yo, what, bro? Whoa, hey, hi." But you could do that. Like they have these little, theaters or whatever that you can go in and you can watch movies together. And yeah, so you can literally, and
Right.
then you're still hearing each other. You're still talking to each other. So it depends on how serious you want to get it. They be trying to make this meta world. They really trying to put us up in there. So, you know,
Right.
it's possible. Possible. Um, Let me go to my favorite. My favorite. Um,
Okay, let me go ahead and say hello to the comments.
yeah, 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 yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Talk when you have stuff to talk about. It ain't gotta be every day. That's tiring. That's unnecessary.
Oh.
That might actually be more of a burden than a bond. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you don't really have nothing to talk about that day, if you're busy, if you're kind of like in the grind of your work or whatever, that's okay. You can send a good morning, what's up? I got a busy couple days ahead of me, so we gonna be on text mode while I grind out this project. I'll give you updates. Shoot them pictures of yourself tired, and then send that to them, and that's good. You ain't got to try to make a whole day of conversation if you don't really have extra stuff to do, because that gets awkward, and the person gonna feel obligated to stay there because they're like, "Oh, I'm trying to make this relationship work, so I'm gonna sit here in this awkward silence." Making up stuff, talking about
Yeah.
what's going on with the carpet in the
Yeah.
corner of my house. You know, Nonsense. We don't want that. No nonsense, guys. No nonsense. Okay, just keep it going. So that one I feel is that. Well, I felt like that was like one of the most real, practical things that they said. The other one I'll share with you is come up with a plan to end the distance, right? You need to be together, right? LDRs are not sustainable. I don't care what somebody tells you. You got to find a way to end at some point. This cannot be the entirety of your relationship. You got to plan time. It was like, okay, well, when are we going to actually try to work on coming together? Because otherwise, it's not gonna work. It's not gonna work. That's not how relationships function the healthiest, right? At some point, You got to come together. Now, I mean, obviously, if it's something like this, you in jail with somebody, somebody's in jail and they got a life sentence, okay, well, you could try as much, but figure out when is that end date. Figure out when they finna be injected, so you can pace yourself for that time. You dig, because otherwise it ain't sustainable, people. It ain't sustainable. So, yeah, those are the tips that I think are really helpful to consider, especially those last two. Don't be talking all the time. Talk when you really got something to say, so that those conversations are quality, and then come up with a time when you're going to actually come together. Those are the best two. That's what I say.
Okay, good. Good, good, good. All right, let me go ahead and say something about these comments. Um Carol said, waiting for it to pop up.
Mm,
Gotta be careful them now there are people out here who specifically look to have um long people for that purpose to scam you out of your money. I know when I was on the dating app, especially Facebook dating app, I don't know how many people who were living in Pennsylvania and New Jersey wanted to talk to me. It was either Pennsylvania and New
mm,
Jersey, or it was South Carolina or North Carolina. And I was like, wait a minute, y'all haven't found anybody in y'all states at all. So
right.
yeah, so I understand, definitely understand that. Want to say hello to a new supporter of ours, the Journals of Awakening. Hello, thank
Hey,
you for
hey,
joining
what up? What up?
us. Carol said that her girlfriend is doing
Mm,
not. Yeah,
hmm,
let's head and get in. So, what some of the things that you said were actually on my do's and don'ts list. And
mm-hmm,
I'm about to get into those just a second. So, the cost of long distance relationships. The question that you have to ask yourself is: are you setting yourself up for failure?
mm.
You have to ask yourself, like before, you really have to count the cost. I just heard um, a podcast, and they asked the question, do you, if you don't have the money to buy a plane ticket to go and see this person, then you should not be entertaining a long distance relationship. If you don't have the funds, if you're
Stop
always
it.
going to want them to come and see you without you having to go see them, then you're setting yourself up for failure, because one of you all are going to, no, not one of you all, the person who's doing the most traveling and the most sacrifice is going to get tired of that eventually. So
Oh yeah.
ladies, he's like, oh, I'll come to you. Oh, I'll come to you because he adores you so much. He's going to get tired of that because he's going to want you to reciprocate that sooner than later. And then you'll be around, how come we don't ever go out or whatever, do anything, because he's spending all
We
his
don't
money.
even talk no
Right. And
more.
he's like, why do you,
Yeah.
why we don't talk anymore? Because he has to work extra hours to offset the cost of traveling to see you. So yeah, you have to ask
Hey, I
yourself, are
gotta
you
work,
setting
girl.
yourself
I got two shifts.
a lot of
I'm
shifts?
tired.
Be yeah, be honest with yourself on how far and how much you're willing to sacrifice to be in a relationship. So be honest with yourself on how far and how much you're willing to sacrifice to be in the relationship. Like some people are like, okay, I'm only going to do 30 miles or 40 miles. Like most of these dating sites allow you like how far you want, as far as
Your
your parameters
radius.
of talking to people,
Hmm.
even though they'll still allow people who are way outside of your range to still, send you messages. But still, you have to be honest with yourself. Say, okay, I'm only going to talk to someone if 30 miles away, 40 miles away, an hour away, 2 hours away. Somebody told me today, maybe up to 6 hours, depending
Ooh.
on the person, if they're connected, they would travel, you have to ask yourself, because you got to think about mileage. You got to think about the cost as far as if you're
It
going to
sounds like
fly
taxes.
or drive. Yeah. And are you willing to do the work as far as consistent communication? Now, I know you pointed out, that you shouldn't be talking every day, but I heard this also today that you should consider the other person's need for communication. So what is the other
True.
person's need? Like, do they require everyday communication? That doesn't have to be every day, doesn't have to be 3 hours. But especially when you're not living that close enough together. So say, like, for instance,
Hmm.
if you were, 1,500 miles away from that person, communication is key, because that consistent communication keeps you all interested in the rhythm of getting to know each other. And
Right.
especially in a relationship. So, I mean, again, it doesn't have to be 3 hours, but checking in with each other. Hey, how was your day? Anything you want to talk about, or keeping each other up on things or activities that you're doing. So yeah, so consistent communication is important, and you want to ask the person what are their communication needs with that. Also, the
Hmm.
cost of LDR is physical touch, and for some of y'all,
Mm.
sex. If
Yep.
you are a person whose language is physical touch, and physical touch does
Yep.
not have to be sex. It can be hugging or holding
Feathers.
hands, kissing. Did you say feathers?
Hmm.
If that was the case, then you have to consider that as well. What are your needs and your wants? At the end of the day, this is a nice relationship, but does it meet my need of my love language?
Yeah.
Also have to
Or
be honest with yourself.
maybe that's one of the gifts they could send you. You dig what I'm saying? You dig?
Ah,
Yeah.
yes, yes. You can now,
Yeah.
you can get creative, very much so,
Yeah.
when it comes to long. You can, like, especially when you're Zoom calling or FaceTiming each other, you can get very creative. Is You have to ask yourself, is this long distance relationship a convenience due to my limited availability to spend time with someone? So some people get into long distance relationships, whether people, because it's convenient. I don't have
Mm.
to see you every day. I don't have to go and take you out on a date. You fit into my schedule. I'm trying to chase my career, my goals, my dreams, and basically you're gonna be my current pen pal or telephone person until I actually have enough time to see you. People do
Yeah.
that, and so you have to ask yourself, am I doing this out of
And make sure
convenience?
that
Because if you're
ain't
doing it out
getting
of
done
convenience,
to you.
right. And if you're
Figure it
doing it
out.
out of convenience, don't do it. If you don't have the time to spend time with anybody in your own state, you're not really going to have the time to communicate with someone who's long distance, because long distance relationships require more work. So
Right.
you're going to be over soon, and you want to have a mutual agreement. Okay, are we doing this out of convenience just so we can have somebody to talk to on the phone? Which people do. Some people are saying, hey, I just need somebody to talk to. I just need a friend. They're not looking for a relationship. They're looking for a friendship that's long distance they can talk to, and have somebody talk about their stuff. Who knows? So you have to ask yourself, why am I getting into this relationship long distance? Do I
Yeah.
can I have I really done everything I can to find someone in my own city, state, or country?
No. No, you haven't.
uh you might want to do that. Now, the role of technology, I talked about video calls. I say
Hmm.
video call everything. For dates, good
Hmm.
mornings, good nights. If you have the ability to FaceTime each other, don't just texting someone long distance, unless you have to because you're in a meeting or you're not able to talk at that time. That's one thing. But if you're able to FaceTime or video call somebody, Zoom call in the morning, do it. Video call your
Mm.
dates. Video call your nights. You're out walking. Video call them. Hey, what you doing? I'm out walking. Hey, if y'all both gotta wash dishes at the same time, hey, let's wash dishes at the same time. We both washing dishes. We both folded laundry together. How many people like me, we wash a lot of clothes and then we have a lot of clothes to fold? That's
Mountains.
me. Mountains of clothes.
Mountains.
Um,
Yes.
mountains and or exercise together. Like I just said, walks. People got the Peloton or whatever they're doing at home.
Mm-hmm.
You just mount up your phone and talk to them on a treadmill, walk with them on a treadmill, exercise. If you're exercising now long distance, when y'all get together, it's gonna be great because you're already creating habits together, and so
Right.
it's like you're in the same space, but you're not. You know. So
Same
here's some more stuff.
headspace.
So do right, right, exactly. So, like I said, do communicate daily, but have real conversations, not like fake conversations, not just about the surface stuff, not just how was your day. Like have real conversations. Like, where are we going at this? How long are we going to do long distance dating or long
Well,
distance
see, the way my
relationship?
bank account is
Um,
set up.
Right. Talk about your finances. Talk about your
Right.
family life. If y'all both have children, if one of y'all have children, how is that going to
Mm-hmm.
happen? Also, I said plan virtual dates. Plan for in-person dates. You need to
Mm-hmm.
plan for in-person date. You cannot continually to have a long distance relationship without actually seeing the person in person. I mean,
Right.
MTV's Catfish show is synonymous with people having these 2-3 year long distance relationships without even seeing each
Nuts.
other in person,
Nuts.
without even video chatting with each other. That's how
Nuts.
much people want to be in a relationship and want to be wanted, that they will go 3 years without ever seeing somebody, and next thing you know they get catfish. So you want to plan for in-person dates. I know when I was trying to long distance date, of course the question was, okay, who's going to come and visit who first. My idea was, how about we meet somewhere that we've never been, midway, and meet and make it a trip, so you can meet at a resort,
Mm.
meet at an amusement park, and do something like that. As far as and so that one person doesn't have to physically come all the way out to where you live, and you don't have to physically come all the way out to where they live, especially if you're very far away. Now, if you're like an hour away or 2 hours, like that, that's different. You can still meet halfway, but it's easier for you to go to each other's cities or whatever. But if you're
You
like
might not
really
want them
far
to know
away,
where you live.
you might not yet, exactly. So
Mm-hmm.
if you live very far away, you can like meet in the middle some way and like
Let's go to
plan fun
Vegas.
activities. Right. Go to
Mm-hmm.
Vegas. And I know in the article said your in-person dates should not always be we're cuddling up on the couch and Netflix and chilling. You need
Right.
to have dates that are fun activities. And
Doing stuff.
that's just basic dating anyway, even if you were in the same city. Because
Right.
you don't want to, I mean, what are you doing if you're always cuddled up with each other? You're not learning anything about each other.
Saving money.
Um, not really.
Budget.
Um, right. Set boundaries. Like you said before, all of my time is not your time just because we're not in the same city.
Yeah.
So you have to set boundaries that we have to have our own individual time, so that even though it's important for us to talk to each other, we need to also have our own time as well.
Yep.
And also, as far as like, don't be jealous of each other. Oh, I didn't get to don'ts yet. Hold on. I'm almost at the don'ts. Do plan on moving. You need to set up
Mm.
a timeline. Okay, we're in this relationship. We've been meeting each other. We've been, going on dates with each other. I've been flying to you. You've been flying to me. I've been driving to you. You've been driving to me. Okay, what is our timeline on who's going to move where? Somebody
Yeah.
is going to have to move.
Somebody gonna do it.
It's either going to be you or them. And so you have to plan on who's going to move. If there is no plan, if every time you're talking to that person, they're like, you know what, let me get back to you. You need to go
You're like,
ahead and
nah,
uh,
cut it.
cut that off. I'm
You need to
sorry.
cut it.
Until we can decide on what's going to happen, we can have this real conversation. We need to go ahead and end this. because you're wasting your time. That means someone is not really committed to moving,
Right.
um, or doing anything about it. And like you said before, do tell your friends and family about your relationship for support. You want other people to support you in your relationship. Do you have anything else you want to say before I get to the don'ts?
The one good thing that I would say you could get out of the distance is a lot of times the physical is taken out, so you're forced to really focus more on getting to know them as a person. One of the cool things, and this was an in-person relationship. Before my wife and I started dating, she had a boyfriend and I had a girlfriend. And so our early interaction with each other for probably like maybe almost the whole first year that we knew each other, um, there was nothing in our mind about connecting physically or anything like that. So the way that we got to know each other, it was really like, okay, this is the person that you are, and I'm getting to learn that about you. Um, you could get a little more intimate
Right.
if you're actually in a relationship. But if you know that there's no pressure to like, okay, eventually I got to maneuver this to the physical at some point. If that's taken out of the picture, then you really can just let yourself soak in the interaction and get to learn the person. So I would say that for me was the biggest do, like lean into getting to know who this person is, you know? So that was my biggest do
Mm-hmm.
for it. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Cool beans. All right.
Mm-hmm,
So here's
mm-hmm,
some
mm-hmm.
don'ts. I don't have as many don'ts as my do's. So here's my don'ts. Don't use work as an excuse to interrupt your daily communication.
Mm,
So, of course, when you're setting boundaries or when you're communicating about, what your needs are as far as communication, after you do that, don't always use it work as an excuse to not talk to them. Oh man, I'm sorry, I was working so much. I'll call you tomorrow. And if you're constantly doing that, then let's go. We need to have a conversation about what's really going on, because especially
right,
if someone is constantly using excuses to interrupt the way things used to be. Not to say that every day is going to be the same, because it's not. Life happens.
right.
But if
Mm-hmm.
if they're constantly, not talking to you, not FaceTiming, if they're now it's one thing if they're communicating to you, say, hey, I have a deadline that's coming up, and I'm gonna be so busy working on this. If you can just you just be patient with me and give me some grace. I am going to make sure I communicate with you as much as I can, but I really have to work on this.
Mm-hmm.
That's one thing. But if they don't do that, and they're like, oh, work, oh, I had to work, oh, I had to work late, oh, I had to go late. So let's go ahead and revisit this again, because if you really want this to work, we're gonna have to talk.
Right.
Um,
You're doing all that work. What about some of this work?
I mean, because to me, I think that if you're really invested in the relationship, you can take time out to text someone. It doesn't take much to text. It does
Mm-hmm.
not. But I know that sometimes men and women don't think the same. Men are, what is it? Men are from Venus. No, men are from Mars. Women are from
Mars.
Venus. So we think differently, because some men would be like, "Oh, she'll be all right." I'm
Yeah.
busy. She'll be all right. And the women are like, no. I seen you posting on Facebook. You can talk to me. So
Oh Lord.
yeah, that whole thing.
I
Um,
was I seen your videos.
right,
Yeah.
right. So don't create a fantasy based on TVs or movies, or compare your relationships to others.
Oh my God.
So
Stop.
don't
Yeah.
create your long distance relationship based on a fantasy that you create in your head. Like, oh, like, so we're going to do this, and then we're going to do. You have to stay in the reality of what's really going on.
Stay there.
Don't create a
Right
fantasy,
here.
and don't assume, and don't compare your long distance relationship to your friend's relationship that they have actually in the same city, or
Mm.
or this. It's not going to be the same. So
Yeah.
you don't want to do that. Um, don't avoid confrontation for the sake of keeping a harmonious relationship.
Mm.
So a lot of people do that. You try to like not have any kind of arguments or disagreements, because you want, your thought process is, oh, we're long distance, I don't want to mess this up. No, you do want to have those disagreements so you all can figure out how you're going to communicate through those, how you work through those. So if you can figure out how you all work through those now long distance, when you finally move, whoever moves and you're together, then y'all already know, okay, this is how this person argues, this is how this person deals with different things going on in life, because everybody
Hmm.
doesn't deal with stress the same way.
Right.
You want to be able to not hide that. Don't hide. Be your 100% authentic self at all times.
Yes,
So
indeed.
that person can know. That goes into don't entertain other people. It is so easy to have the mindset of out of sight, out of mind. Like, what they don't know won't hurt them. If you are in a relationship, a committed, not you're dating somebody and you're getting to know them and you're long distance. Look, no, y'all have mutually agreed. I'm with you, you're with me. You're not to go out on dates with nobody else. I'm not to go on dates with nobody else. We're not to entertain any kind of foolishness. If that was the agreement, then you should not be going out on regular work lunch dates with Susie, and you should not be going out on regular lunch dates with John, and your
Hmm.
significant other don't know. So whatever if you won't do it in front of them, don't do it behind their back. It's
Mm.
all about that. So it's easy though. It's like, okay, they're not gonna know that I went out and hung out and do this and do that. They're not gonna know
Except when
that.
they on your Facebook.
Except when on their Facebook, or when someone,
Hmm.
you don't know who's watching you, you don't know who's taking pictures, you don't know who knows who. So,
Right.
and most of the time, sometimes there's a 6 degree of separation between y'all with somebody, and you just don't know.
Some kind of way.
Yeah. So that leads into don't be dishonest. Always be open and transparent, because honesty and transparency leads to a strong trust. It leads to stronger bonds, which
Yeah.
will help with the long distance relationship. Again, I have never had a long distance relationship, but I've had it with my ex-husband, and I know that it was very important for us to always be honest about how we felt about the deployments, how we, to communicate. I had to make sure that I always, sent him emails, even though he couldn't see it right away. Whenever he could see it was very good for him to be able to, log in and go, oh, look, she done sent me all these emails. Oh, look, she's keeping me abreast of what's going on at home.
Hmm.
So I think that is important. So next is our pros and
Oh,
cons. This is the
yo,
final
yo,
thing.
yo. Hold on. You you said keeping me abreast of what's going on.
What?
Okay, okay. No, I had to clear it. I thought you were saying you sent him abreast for a time or two. And I was like, what? Okay, okay, okay.
Oh my gosh. That's not what I
Like,
said.
wow, wow. She's really putting it all out here. Like literally. Okay. No, but you said you got it. No, I got it. I'm there.
No,
I'm back. I'm back. I'm back. I'm back. I'm back.
keeping you informed. Sorry.
Right, 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 right.
All right. So what's your pros and cons?
Yeah, my pro is just the one thing that you take the physical out and you can focus on really getting to know the person. That was my pro. Um,
Yeah.
my con is almost like almost like last week. Everything else. I mean, I guess
Everything.
another pro is you do get to exercise your creativity. So
Yeah.
hopefully that carries over when you do finally get together.
Right.
The con of that is you may be disillusioned into this idea that once you're now together, you can relax. You know,
Right.
like okay, we're together. I don't need to do all that stuff. The proximity is now doing all the heavy lifting, and we
Right.
no longer have to do that. It's like the difference between people dating and then when they get married and they think they could just relax. It's
Right.
like nah, you still gotta put the energy into it so that this thing is working. So
Right.
yeah, you gotta get to a point. I agree 100%. You got to get to a point where the long distanceness of your
Right.
relationship ends, because we're just created to be people, you know, getting into the spiritual realm of it. We're created to be connected. We're created to be in communion with each other.
Right.
And if you're depriving yourself of part of that, you're depriving yourself of part of the health that makes your relationship as strong as it can be. So, you know, you got to get to that point, man.
Right.
Hmm.
Exactly. So my pros and cons were similar to yours. So I said also that you were able to have a deep emotional connection with someone without the sex. So that
Hmm.
is like so important because you're able to actually have a conversation because that's all you all have. That's why I said
Hmm.
communication is very important because if all you have is a phone call, then
Hmm.
you should be consistent with that. That should be so important. The phone call, hearing somebody's voice, you know, because we don't even sometimes you don't even have to say nothing. It's just hearing the hello, especially when it's somebody
Right.
that you care about deeply. You may be in love at this point, and just hearing them say hello, how are you, or hello, I've been thinking about you, or just anything. And sometimes I forgot to say this with communication, you can also send a voice note. You know, if you're busy and you're working, let me go ahead and shoot her or a voice note right quick. That is
Right.
so. I mean, and because you can save that, it's like, oh my gosh, you know. Because it's easier than doing a voicemail. You don't have to log into your voicemail. It's like right there, boom. This person is telling me, "Hey, I'm thinking about you. I miss you. I can't wait to talk to you again. I can't wait to FaceTime you again." You know, that is very important. So it does create a deep emotional connection with you all, especially if you're having the right conversations. If you're talking about the right things. If you're not just
Right.
being surface. If you're really getting vulnerable with someone. That way when you meet them in person, it's like the in person whenever you all going on your dates and stuff and you're meeting up and taking vacations together, it's like icing on the cake because you all end up you value how much it is to be in person.
Right.
Pro is while you're away from each other, you have more time to focus on your career goals. So say you meet someone and you're in a relationship and you're currently, I don't know, in medical school. You don't have that weight of, oh, I have to go make time for them in person because you're long distance. So you can still go through your residency or whatever and not have to worry about that part as long as you remember to keep up with the communication. And like you also said that you have time to be, focus on your individual routines. I know that someone else said on another podcast that you have time to continue to foster your friendships because if you're in the same city or state or whatever, you're not long distance and you're in a relationship, it's like so much that you have to balance out. You have to balance out time with your boo, you got to balance out time with your friends, you got to balance out time with your family and with your own children if they're still young. So it's like all of that has to go in play. But if that person is not there right now, temporarily, you have time to still, okay, let me go ahead and spend as much time as I am with them because eventually, soon enough, not like years later, but soon enough, I'm going to be with this person and I'm not going to have really a lot of time to spend with y'all. Not with your kids. You should still be spending time with your kids, y'all. Even when you have them. So yeah. Am I frozen? No. Oh, what happened to D? He went away. What happened to D, man? You guys, he went away. It's just me and you. It's just me and you. Ooh, baby. Hey. Sorry, you guys. You have to put up with my singing. I don't know where my D guy went. Where my bro go? I think he lost connection. I don't know how long I was talking about myself. I don't know how long. And I have a hard time looking at the camera sometimes. So how about this? I'm gonna keep going, and then when he pops back on, he can say what he has to say. Okay, okay. Up there he is. Here he comes back, coming back. Um,
What's up,
there you
everybody?
are.
Man,
He's back.
yeah, I'm
All
back,
right. I
y'all.
finished out my cons, my pros and cons. I was just
Hmm.
saying, you have time on your own. Let's see. My cons. It's easier to walk away from a long distance relationship, especially if you don't know how. If you're a
Hmm.
person who you don't know how to handle your anger. If you get upset with somebody a lot, you're like, you know what, forget this. You know what, whatever. Because
Done.
you're like, because you may be thinking that if especially if you haven't met each other in person yet, you may feel I really haven't invested anything yet. You might be thinking that, like, I really haven't
Ooh,
invested
that's
anything yet.
tricky. Yeah.
I haven't spent any money to go see you yet. I mean, the only thing I've sacrificed is maybe like, time as far as like watching my television show, maybe. Because
Hmm.
but you're not, it's easier to walk away. That's a con. So if that person's not really fully committed to the process of the long distance relationship, they may see that as a avenue of a get out of jail free card. Another con
Mm.
is the distance. I mean, hey, that's the distance is a con. That's why it's very important for you to ask yourself, how far away can I deal with someone being that far away? Ask yourself, okay, how
Right.
30 miles, 40 miles, 20 minutes, an hour, 3 hours across the world, what can I really deal with? Because that distance, after a while, especially when you really love somebody, and then when y'all finally meet
Hmm.
each other, and then having to say goodbye again, it's hard. So
Yeah.
you want to be able to know, what can I bear? What would I be able to bear? Especially if you know that you won't be able to move like a year from now, especially like if you just signed your lease and she just signed her lease,
Oh man.
y'all
Right.
not
Right.
going nowhere for a while. So yeah, you gotta think about that. And then also, what did I put? Oh, that's it. That was my only cons. Was
Yeah. But
Oh
you can
yeah,
do it.
yeah. Oh, I'm
No,
sorry.
I
My
just
other con,
remind people that. Yeah.
I'm sorry. My other con was that oh yeah, you already said it. That if there isn't any real clear direction of where your relationship is going, and who's going to move to where, because I think that's the
Right.
really sticky part, is who's moving. Because sometimes a person who has to move feels like that they're the person who's making the most sacrifice for the relationship,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
that might weigh a lot on the relationship. So it's like
Oh yeah.
they have to think about, okay, are you worth me moving to another state, to another city? Are you worth it? So they
Mm.
have to like outweigh, okay, is this person worth it? Or am I just caught up in this whirlwind of a long distance relationship?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's that. So you have to ask yourself the question, you guys, worth the distance? Is love worth the distance?
Yeah.
To go, I mean, I don't know. I can say for sure, I don't think right now I have the capacity to do long distance relationship, because I've
Hmm.
tried long distance dating and it didn't work. So if it
Hmm.
didn't work in the dating phase, it's not going to work in the relationship phase. It, and then when I say long distance, I mean like across the country like this. I know for the most, for me, an hour at the most,
Hmm.
an hour and a half away. And me moving to them would have to make sense, just like them moving to me
Hmm.
would have to make the most. But because I have kids and I also help my mom take care of my grandmother, I would want somebody to come to me.
Hmm.
They would have to be in a position to be able to come to me. So that's why I know it won't work. Then I would look like the selfish person. So
Yeah.
that would be
But
that.
you gotta be selfish when it comes to your life. You got to be selfish when it comes to your life.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, I will say this though:
Yeah. So,
if you are in the
but
long distance relationship,
uh-huh.
you can do it. Like, don't give up. Like, if you really love the
Oh
person,
yeah.
don't give up. Make sure you're working on it, because these tips we're giving you, these websites, we want to encourage you, to keep going as well. On both sides of the
Absolutely.
spectrum.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Especially like you said, the websites, if you really want it to work, then make it work. Just like any relationship, if you really want it to work, like I said in the beginning, if the reward and the once the long distance part is over outweighs the sacrifice that you all have to make to be together, if that reward is great enough, you better make it work. Say it.
Hmm.
Why am I thinking about what is RuPaul? You better work.
You better work. Turn to the left.
Work
Turn
it,
to the
girl.
right. Work it. Work that LDR, girl.
Work that LDR.
Work that
Yeah.
LDR. Work.
What is what is your scripture for today, sir?
Work. Okay, let me get back serious. Okay, all right. I got two. One on both sides of the spectrum.
Okay.
Okay, so the first one I
Okay.
have is Proverbs 19:2. It says, "Desire without knowledge is not good." Need both,
Mm,
right? Whoever makes haste with his feet misses his way. So you moving too fast, you might run yourself right into a ditch, into a trap, into a cage, and then you're stuck there for a while till you figure it out. However,
right.
if you're sticking to that, here's the encouragement for you. Proverbs 13:12. Hope deferred makes the heart sick, but a desire fulfilled is a tree of life. So it might be difficult,
That was
but if you make
mm-hmm.
plans to fulfill that desire, oh, it's going to give you life. It's going to breathe into your spirit. So don't move too fast. And even though you're feeling the pain from moving at this slower pace, like, don't be moving somebody's house and you ain't ready. Um, as the longing gets to the point of its maturity, then it's going to be good. It's going to be good.
No. Yes. That's right. That let me tell you something. You just said something really good. Don't be moving nowhere you ain't ready. You don't want to end up on
Don't be
what
moving.
is it, cold case files,
Don't you
or
do it.
you have to be wise. You have to be wise. So many of us, we want love so bad that we don't think with our mind. We think too much with our heart, and we don't think with our mind. You have to use common sense, people, when it comes to distance relationships. I mean, for real. If you don't know where he lives exactly, like if you're in the point you've been doing this and you don't even have his address, you can never send him anything in the mail. That is a red flag. Um, no. Yeah. If he is a loner,
Yeah.
if he doesn't have any friends or family, you need to tread lightly, because why is that? Ask.
He's in
That's
a
what I say.
cabin in
Ask
the
the right
woods.
question. Right. Ask the right questions. Who's your family? Who's your friends? Who do you talk to? Oh, I don't have nobody. Then why don't you have anybody? And when are you going to get somebody? So yeah.
When are you going to get some friends? I can't be with somebody that don't
Right.
got friends.
I can't. I need you to have some friends. You don't have to have a bunch, at least one good one. And I need to see them on camera if we long distance relationship. I need to see who they are. Because I think friends and family, they can tell you a lot about a person. Now if they don't,
Oh yeah,
if they don't have a good relationship with their family, then that's one thing. Oh, look, my light went out. But if they do, then
that was
yeah.
a sign.
So let me go ahead and give you, that was a sign. Let me go ahead and give the quote for the day. and it comes from the modernlovelongdistance.com website. It says, hold on, you guys. Distance teaches us to appreciate the days that we are able to spend together, and distance teaches us a definition of patience. It is a reminder that every moment together is special and every second should be cherished. And that has
Mm.
no one's name on it. It's unknown. Um, so yeah, so distance teaches us appreciation, it teaches us patience, and it reminds us how we should cherish each other. Cherish the day, like Sade say. Cherish the day,
Yes.
bongo day. You know. So yeah, so we thank you so much, guys, for tuning in another
Thank you.
episode of
Thank
the Way
you.
Love Goes podcast.
Mm.
Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and comment. Turn that notification bell on. We
All
hope
the
that you
things,
learned
y'all.
something today in regards to long distance relationships. Whether you decide to do it, you're thinking about it, or you're in it, please consider all the things that we said and do your due diligence to listen to a podcast, another podcast that talks about it, or
Mm-hmm.
go to the websites we talked about today, so that you can know how to navigate your long distance relationship successfully, or if you need to get out of
Yeah.
it. Either
If you
or,
need to get
either
out, go.
or,
Go, go, go.
go, go, go,
Go, go, go.
go, go. So
Do
until
not
next
stay.
time, you guys, we'll see you next Friday at the same time, the same place, and that
The way.
is the
The
way
way.
love
Love.
goes.
Go, go, goes. See how I did that? See what we did right there? If you need to.
Thank
If you
you
need
guys
to.
so much. Thank you guys so much. We'll see you next time, okay? Ta ta.
Peace and love. Okay.
You're taking home?